Oh, we have a TikTok of yours to react to. Why don't we pull it up?
Oh, yeah.
And then we have some of your tweets to react to, and then we're going to wrap up
Okay.
probably shortly after that.
I want to know if you guys agree with this, by the way.
Can you? Yeah. Oh, start it from the beginning.
These are 5 red flags to look out for in a girl. If she has any of these, you're better off just not getting involved. Number 1 is high body count and no regrets. If she's proud of being a slut, you can hit it, but don't put a ring on that finger. Because remember, sleeping with many people ruins your ability to pair bond and obviously makes your current partner less special. The second thing is having a poor relationship with family. So if she's
Wait, Nick,
disrespectful
hide that
and
thing in the corner, man. All right, go ahead.
says shit like, I hate my dad, I hate my mom. Unless she has a valid reason to, then she'll be disrespectful to you as well. The third thing is she entertains multiple guy friends who want her. This speaks for itself. You should know that they probably just want to smash, and if she doesn't know that, then there's a red flag in itself. There's no such thing as guy friends, and this really just shows that she loves attention. Number 4, she shames you for having boundaries. If you express something you're not comfortable with, and she says, you're just being insecure, instead of talking it out with you and compromising, then run. Number 5 is gross if she smokes. This just shows she doesn't take care of herself in the right way. So let me know if these are valid and if I should drop part 2.
Valid or not?
Dope. Can you just recap? What are the 5? So high body count.
High body count with no regrets, like she's proud of being a slut. The second one was disrespectful to her family. The third one, oh my God, I'm forgetting it. Wait, okay, I know smoking.
That was the 5th one.
That's the 5th one, but disrespectful. Oh, has guy friends.
Okay.
And she doesn't compromise with you, so she's saying like shit, like you're just very insecure because you don't want her to go clubbing or something like that. And then the 5th one's if she smokes.
Gotcha. I agree with you pretty much everything there. The only nitpick I have is when you say if she's a slut, you can still hit it. Me personally, I don't know if I'm a outlier when it comes to men. Even if it was just for a one-night stand, I wouldn't want to get with a girl who's promiscuous anyways.
What if she lies though? What if you like that doesn't come up? What if you just like, or are you just not that type of guy to just hit it in a one-night stand?
Well, no, I mean, I think that, I wouldn't want to have a one-night stand, but if like there's a girl I'm pursuing, and then I don't think it's necessary to wait long periods of time before having sex.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's things that you can tell, like, not always. Some women are pretty good at hiding it, but you can tell to some degree if she's promiscuous.
Yeah.
But you can also, at least for me, I'm kind of, you can just straight up ask to be honest. But you don't need to necessarily straight up ask for the body count, but you can ask like, okay, ask relationship history. That can sort of be an indicator.
Yeah.
You can ask like certain questions that might potentially be an indicator of promiscuity. Has she had threesomes? Has she had more than threesomes? Okay, she's had fucking orgies, probably high body count.
Yeah.
There's other,
that's
like there's
true.
certain sexual and non-sexual questions that you could ask her that could potentially reveal promiscuity. Not always, but there's a lot of other deciphering factors. So
You know when they say like you can tell it in the eyes, like if she's
the
pure or
what's it called? The 1,000 cock stare.
not. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
say if you can tell it
Some
in the
girls
eyes.
have the 1,000 cock stare.
Yeah, so if she.
Tiffany, just kidding.
Oh,
Just kidding. I'm kidding, Tiffany.
Wait, I don't have a question. So, like, all that is valid, but I think an important question to ask is, like, when was that timeline of that body count? For example, like for my circumstance, like, yeah, I did a lot of stuff that, I shared that I thought were entertaining, but I don't think they were, like, things that I've done. And when I look back in the past year and a half, I've completely changed. But does that mean that my potential date is going to judge me for what I've done like 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your past haunts you.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm like, okay.
well, look, what is it? Obviously, a girl who is no longer promiscuous, but was promiscuous, you could say that's better than a girl who was promiscuous and is still promiscuous. Some people believe in redemption and But me personally, I feel like once a girl's got a high body count, that's a wrap.
I'm pretty sure the vagina resets after a certain amount of months.
No,
No,
I'm not even
that's
talking about that.
a
And
cup.
look, that it is like
I
a
think
girl.
I'm the biggest red flag then, because
Why?
I don't find any of those wrong.
You think they're all right?
I think if a girl decides to be sexual and decides to settle down, then that doesn't make her a red flag.
Wait,
Having
you
a
just
lot
said
of
decides to settle down?
Hmm?
Decides to settle down?
Like I don't know, like if a girl is like crazy in college and like gets with a bunch of guys, but then like later on like wants a family and a husband, like that doesn't, like, just because she's been with a bunch of people doesn't mean that she isn't deserving of those things.
Well, do you have a response, and then I'll go.
I would say no.
What
Everyone's,
makes you more deserving than a girl that slept with more people?
I value myself a lot more, so I would say I deserve someone of more high value, and usually more people of more high value, like men, they choose to be with a woman who isn't promiscuous, like Brian here. So I wouldn't say I'm more deserving of love. I think everyone is deserving of love. I'm just saying it's like a standard that someone like he has, someone like I have, and the kind of videos I make promote to red pill. They promote to high value guys, and not usually, but what I'm saying to those guys is if you can get a bunch of girls, don't settle for a hoe. Settle for a good girl who's going to make your life easier.
But I would even, to add to what you're saying, I argue that even normal average men have a strong preference for non-promiscuous women. You don't need to be like a high value guy.
That's not true. It's because they can't get options. They don't have options. Their options are only like the ran
Sure.
through.
So I think, so what you're saying is like a guy who it's difficult for him to get a woman, out of necessity, he might partner with like a woman who is or was promiscuous because that's all he can get. I would actually argue though that like even guys who struggle with dating, there are some guys who are really not that pressed for pussy. They're not that pressed to get laid, and they do want to pursue a high quality woman who may be average, just as he's average. But I mean,
I'm confused.
well,
What you're trying to say?
what I'm saying is that perhaps out of necessity, some guys will settle for a woman who's promiscuous or who has a high body count. But I don't think that like men almost innately want women who are not promiscuous or don't have a promiscuous past or don't have a high body count.
Why?
There's a ton of reasons.
I mean-
So first off, having a high body count is a proxy for promiscuity.
Yeah.
Promiscuity is an undesirable trait for someone that you're pursuing for a long-term relationship. There's the STD component. The more sexual partners you have, the greater likelihood that you've gotten an STD. Perhaps AB Check, thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. The more promiscuous you are, the more people you've had sex with, the greater likelihood of having had an STD, or perhaps you have an incurable STD like herpes, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think a girl who's had one sexual partner is much less likely to have herpes, for example, than a girl who's had 50 or 100.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
What's up?
So let's say you marry a girl with 10 bodies and you have a child with her. That child can inherit the DNA of all the past men. that
Oh,
she's
I've
been
heard
with.
of this. I don't
Telogamy.
know.
Is that a fact though?
It's
That's
called
def-
telogamy. You can search it up.
I thought it was called like something like chimerism or
No, it's
something about chimerism.
I don't know about that.
I have heard something about
I
like
found that crazy.
women will retain the the DNA of men that they've previously had sex with. I don't know if that study is valid. I don't know. I saw the article though.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's pretty crazy.
What if
to
they use a
think.
condom?
I mean,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
think the
could
guy has to
still-
blast.
yeah, he'd have
The
to
guy has
like,
to come inside.
totally blast her.
I think he's
but-
got to come inside. I think, but
He's got a blast.
yeah. So, but no.
He's got a blast.
Why body count matters? Okay, so on a purely practical level, if a girl is, for example, sleeping with somebody else while she's sleeping with me, it's just gross on a practical level.
Well, that's rude to you. That'd be like. rude
And
to
and
you.
by the way, I feel like women can feel this exact same way. Like if you knew that a guy slept with a girl right before you could feel like, oh, that's kind of like, did he wash? Like, it's different though. Like it's a little different between men and women. But So promiscuous woman with a high body count, she's more likely to be sleeping with multiple people at the same time. I don't want to like kiss a girl that like sucked some dude's dick yesterday. Like to me, that's just gross. STDs, right? Infidelity, that's a huge thing. So nobody wants to risk getting cheated on. High body count equals high probability of cheating and infidelity. Pair bonding is the other one. So the more partners you have, the less able you are, the more partners you have, Jesus, sorry.
Is that fact though?
The less able you are
is.
to bond and fall in love with new partners. So the more partners you've had, you just start viewing sex as sport. Like it's just sport fucking to you. It means nothing. There's no you've detached intimacy from sex. Once you've like, it's just, the intimacy is gone. It's just like a handshake. Good to meet you. You've rewired your brain to detach the intimacy from sex. You're also probably not a relationship-minded person if you've had a bunch of casual sex, as evidenced by the amount of casual sex you've had. If you were relationship-minded, you would probably hold sex to be something that you just have within a relationship. So there's also, I think people want to feel like they're someone special to their special someone. So if I'm dude number 77 for you, why didn't the previous 76 work out? What is something wrong with you? Do you get bored really easily? I'm going to view you as you're not a good long-term bet for commitment. Why didn't you commit to any of these 77 other dudes that you've slept with?
Doesn't that make you more special?
No.
No,
Just kidding.
That works.
Nah.
Like out of all these 77 guys on the roster, like you made it. You made the cut.
Well,
Then you're also thinking about all
I'm
the
just kidding.
other 77 guys that she's.
no, I mean, what would be special
I'm
would be
kidding.
like she's a virgin and she picks you.
Aw,
Yeah, sorry.
so special.
I would also argue when it comes to body count, it's a social reputational thing. Men care a lot about respect and respect from our male friends, from our peers. If we wife up a girl who's like promiscuous and has slept with the entire town, that's going to reflect poorly on us. Like there's this old saying, like you don't wife up the town bicycle. Like it's a reputational thing. People are not going to respect you. There's also this concept called, it's kind of like a nerdy term, but alpha widow. So I would say, yes, we as men do care about being compared to your other partners. Part of that is because women can sleep up, men can't really. So I think women have to be very careful with who they sleep with, because you can sleep with men way out of your league in looks, personality, and status. Bear in mind, those men will never commit to you. The same can't really be said about men. Like men can't sleep outside of their league typically. You have like it's a totally mirror opposite almost. So typically for a woman, let's say a woman doesn't normally engage in casual sex, she might break that rule for like a guy who's really fucking attractive. Whereas men, it's almost the reverse. Like men will sleep with women that they otherwise wouldn't, just based on looks, but have no interest of getting into a relationship with that woman. So for example, right, in order for a girl to sleep with a guy, I would argue that guy needs to be at least physically attractive enough to be in a relationship with. I don't think the reverse is definitely not the case for men. Men will regularly sleep with women that they would never, just on the looks factor alone, will sleep with women that we would never consider for a relationship.
Yeah.
But the reverse is not the case.
Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
if a woman's gonna have casual sex, she's gonna try to secure it with like a really fucking hot dude. So women will break their rules that way, and then men will sleep down with women that they'll never commit to, but it's just they welcome the easy access to sex. Did you have something?
Sorry. sorry to interrupt, but I wasn't sure how long this podcast was gonna be.
Oh,
so
we're gonna wrap pretty soon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check in.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, probably another 10 minutes.
Okay,
Cool?
got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that's kind of what some of the reasons why men care about body count. I know I went through quite a bit
So
of a
it's
list.
okay if they are like plugging it in everywhere.
Well, I do think there is a bit of a difference.
How? If it's like a transfer of energy both ways, then like doesn't the energy
Sure.
of the man?
Well,
also-
I'll address that. So it is a bit different. And the other one I forgot to mention, which I think is probably one of the most, I feel like people don't, well, there's an evolutionary psychology basis for men caring much more about women's promiscuity than the reverse. So it comes down to paternity certainty. So, for example, let's say I have 10 wives. They're all loyal to me, and I'm sleeping with all of them. I know with my 10 wives that I'm the father for all of them. We know who the mothers are, we know who the father is. The reverse, however, if there's a woman with 10 husbands and they're all sleeping with her, who's the father of the children that she bears? You don't know. Now, of course, I'm talking about this from a evolutionary psychology perspective. In the 1980s, I believe DNA testing came around. So yes, through paternity testing, we know now. But that doesn't erase hundreds of thousands of years of evolution when it comes to males and men needing to ensure paternity of their children. Because when you have a kid, you know for a fact that that's your kid. But as a man, there's no real way for us to know with certainty. So men care far more about promiscuity, because if you're promiscuous, that's indicator for infidelity. If you're sleeping with other men, they could be the one that impregnated you, not us. And we want to pass on our genes. So it's a paternity uncertainty.
But wouldn't you like separate the two? Like wanting to like have kids with someone versus like hookup culture? Like those are very different. You know what I mean?
Well,
Because like women
sure.
don't have sex to like have children.
Sure, but it
A lot
doesn't.
of them don't,
But
at least.
but what? Let me ask you a question. What drives us on a biological base level to have sex? What makes us sexually attracted to other people?
Hormones.
But there's something in our biology, our DNA. What ultimately, like for example, somebody who is, how do I articulate this? Shit. Okay. Sorry. Even if you have sex with somebody, of course, you don't have the intention of, okay, my intention here is to procreate. No, of course not.
Yeah.
People have sex recreationally all the time, most of the time probably. However, our drive to do it has a very strong like evolutionary biological route to pass on our seed. Now that might not be your intellectual intention, but somewhere in your subconscious, in your like, what's that? Wait, Nick, what? Yeah, you're good. Oh, okay. Somewhere in your subconscious, there's that drive to procreate.